The following podcast contains explicit language because, frankly, I am tired of editing out Sonia's swearing. She cannot help it. It's a constant problem, and I'm just tired of dealing with it. So you've been warned.
Smith.
Here it comes.
Fuck you.
This episode of the Dorking Out podcast is brought to you by us. We are actually have produced a little video in association with friend of the show, Ben Waddell, about what is the real biggest movie of all time. We think you might enjoy it. We're going to have a link in the show notes to this episode. Also, the following episode is one of our year-end specials, and I have to caution you, I had a bit of a cold when we were recording this. I think I cut out all of the coughing, but if there's a little bit in there, I just have to apologize. I was crazy ill during the making of this episode, but now, enjoy the show. Enjoy our first part of our favorite stories of 2017.
Houston, flight is go.
Myla, let's go. SPM. Safety contact.
From Assignment X, Amalgamated Storytelling, and thesoniashow.com, it's Dorking Out with Sonia Mansfield and Christopher Allen Smith. Welcome to episode 85 of Dorking Out, a podcast for people who like to dork out about stories and the stories and culture we love. That means movies and TV, books and podcasts, and everywhere else we find stories that interest us. This is the Time's Up Golden Globes edition. With me today is my co-host, Emmy Award-winning filmmaker and nerd author, Christopher Allen Smith.
You know, Sonia, I want to honor you and do my standard female kiss-up, as apparently all men have to do. In 2018...
Your time's up! I'm reclaiming my wine.
Take it. I understand all of this stuff is great, but holy smokes if I have to see another overly earnest ass-kissery speech. Holy smokes. All right, sorry.
Will you please introduce me?
Hey, Sonia.
Hi. You're a dick. You're such a dick.
No, hold on. That went off the rails. It was totally my fault. With me today is my co-host, professional writer and author of The Sonia Show, Sonia Mansfield. I just finished the Golden Globes. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm sorry. You're a strong, powerful woman.
This is true.
That hopefully doesn't take as much ass-kissing as the actors.
Be quiet. Be quiet. I'm talking.
Oh, Hollywood. Still?
I actually found, we're going to talk about the Golden Globes, which just ended like 15 minutes ago. But
it feels like they haven't ended yet. It feels like they're not going to be over until Tuesday.
It was what Smith is so upset about, because he's awful, is he's kind of upset with the whole like Me Too movement and the idea of time's up and the inequality that goes on in Hollywood, but also in, well, every industry. And that was kind of all over the Golden Globes. And I personally I found it kind of therapeutic. It sounds like you did not.
I did. Well, see, here's the thing I did. And I figured it out is, and this goes a little bit with the Oscars so white, even though it's kind of like my heart is with both movements. But the self-satisfaction that Hollywood bestows on itself, while at the same time rigidly rejecting and resisting real change, bugs the crap out of me. Like the back patting and the aren't we strong. Natalie Portman, I think, said it best when she's, they were talking about, female directors and this and that. And here are the 5 male directors.
Yeah. Natalie Portman ain't having it.
Exactly,
I really
that's the
love
thing.
That part. I was like, good for her.
And the condescension that a lot of the male actors, they got up and they would say all these nice things. Are they working for pay equity when it comes to their co-stars? Not really.
Some of them are, but
some of them are. But most of them are not.
Are not.
Most of them have their age. Most of them are hammering the phones to their agents to make sure they get the most amount of money they can possibly get. And if that money comes out of beating down their female co-stars' salary, so the producers can make the whole budget work or whatever, that's the way it is. It's one of those things where I agree with it 100%. I actually did find Oprah's speech authentically inspiring and authentically meaningful.
Oprah is the shit. And
exactly.
She could totally run for president and people will vote for her.
Exactly. But it was the shit. But she also gave real examples and how things had not changed. And she didn't make it sound like, oh, we're all done. It's over. You know, Seth Meyers making a couple jokes about dudes and then every actor going up there and talking about his strong female co-stars and just, oh my God, give me a break. Get it. Let's get to the point where there's rough gender parity, at least.
So you're basically saying all the guys who won Golden Globes went up there and say if this was the Oscars so white again, that they would all go up there and then they'd talk about their one black friend.
Exactly. Yes. That's what it is. You know, and the thing with Oscars So White is
I know women too.
That's right.
Guys, and they're super awesome.
They're some of my best friends.
Cool. Some of my best friends are women.
Well, that's the thing is there's two sides of this coin. There's the side of the coin of the protesters and the people who are working to make change. It's Too Late, Me Too, and Oscars So White. They are using these award shows to highlight the problems of, racial inequity or gender inequity or, and from my point of view and from, I think our point of view, the point of view of this podcast is storytelling inequity. When 95% of the stories are told by white guys, 99% of the leads in movies are white guys. When 95% of the directors are white guys, it leads to a paucity of, different kinds of storytelling. I talked about a little bit about this last week with Coco, which is the great thing about diversity is you get different kinds of stories and you're connected to different kinds of things and have different kinds of experiences. So for the women and the minorities pushing the Oscar So White thing, I totally get. For the Hollywood insiders, the actors, the actresses, the producers, the directors, the studio heads, they're not moving. They're not changing. If you look at the SAG or the breakdown of roles in the Screen Actors Guild, breakdown of jobs in the Writers Guild, breakdown of directors, directing in the Directors Guild.
Right.
All of those changes, all of the real meaningful changes to get more African Americans and minorities nominated for Oscars starts at the studio. It starts at the people hiring the writers, hiring the directors, hiring the actors, hiring the actresses. They're the ones that need to change, and all they're doing is slapping themselves on the back in tonight's like this, and then turning right around and throwing their hands up and saying, oh, it's just so hard to find qualified people to blah, 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 blah. It's just
Look, I'm sure you are correct, but also, this is something that just really started coming out this year where people are feeling emboldened to actually do something. Mm-hmm. And I think Guillermo del Toro, who won tonight, he said that you trade 3 years of your life for one entry on IMDb. It's going to take a little while to see kind of what the Me Too movement means for Hollywood. It's not going to mean anything right away, but it might mean something next year when more women are given opportunities. Maybe. If it happens. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're just all, they're going to wear the little pins and, use the hashtags and they're not really going to do anything.
That's the thing. And that's the thing.
But maybe they are.
Maybe they are. Maybe they will. That'd be great. I mean, let's see. That's the thing is let's look at Patty Jenkins. Wonder Woman. She directed Wonder Woman 2017. Her last big screen directing gig was Monster in 2003. Mm-hmm. She didn't direct a movie for 14 years.
Yeah.
So this, I just want things to be authentically changed. I mean, that's one of the things I remember when I was trying to.
I understand what you're saying.
You know,
I want things to authentically
well,
change.
yeah, exactly.
It's bullshit that it took her that long to get another movie when, you know, white male directors get chance after chance after chance after chance.
Right.
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to remember who it was. Patrick on F This Movie just this past week, like, Patrick Bromley brought up he brought up Guy Ritchie and how Guy Ritchie is going to be directing the Aladdin movie.
Right.
And he was like, why? Like, his last couple of movies have been huge bombs. Like, he gets all the breaks.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, from Guy Ritchie's point of view, here's the thing is a couple things. One, you know, one of the reasons that I'm so kind of down on tonight is Hollywood has a supreme ability for BS and hypocrisy. They've kind of turned BS and hypocrisy into the magic of Hollywood, which in a weird way I am kind of in awe of and appreciative. I remember arguing with a girlfriend back in the late 90s when I was trying to get into screenwriting.
Don't lie. You didn't have a girlfriend back in the 90s.
And she was taking me to task about how few female directors there were and this and that. And I was like, well, you know, hopefully things will change. And it was a couple years before Monster and Patty Jenkins, but it was I think it was Jane. We were talking about Jane Campion for directing The Piano, I think, or something. And it was kind of like, well, you know, women have been held back for years, and hopefully over the next couple of years, the proof will be in the pudding. Well, 17 years later, the proof is in the pudding, and nothing has changed.
Right.
So all of the backslapping, all of the, you know, I think my tripwire is going to be when there are 2 women at least in the director's category. Once we hit that point where there are so many women directing so many movies that 2 of them make it in to the directing category, then we're going to make it. You know, there's 5. So
right.
You know, so 2 or 3. That's the point where all of this glad-handing and self-congratulatory BS backslapping that Hollywood does is going to mean something. So, so it's kind of like my heart is with the right people, but holy cow, the self-flagellation that we saw tonight was just... Holy smokes.
That's Hollywood award shows for you.
It is. Excuse me.
They're always going to be that way. It's just the way it is.
They're
award shows.
And the older I get, maybe the more, and I think that's the other thing is a lot of the, I think Tom Hanks did this a couple years ago, and it happens frequently, or it happens sometimes where an actor goes up and they try to give a speech and they try to get all kind of verklempt and they try to get all swept away in the emotion and give some age-worthy speech, and they almost all fall flat, and just you can see them trying so hard to give the big speech of the night.
Unless they're Oprah.
Right, exactly. You take out Oprah and oh my God, this night was insufferable.
I like Laura Dern's speech a lot, actually. So
you know, I have to admit, I might have skipped over that one. I might have TiVo'd over that one.
Well, I would never do that to Laura Dern. She should be in everything.
But yeah, and you know, it's funny. I'm wondering if because Oprah got the Cecil B. DeMille Award, which is they tell you you're getting that weeks in advance, you're not in this place on the actual awards night where it's kind of like you're caught between, am I going to win? Am I not going to win? Am I going to need the speech? Am I not going to need the speech? Am I going to, you know, all these things are going through your head. And she gave a real fantastic speech, a meaningful.
Well, I would hope so, because you know you're going to receive an award. I would hope that you would prepare. You know, you don't go up there and wing it.
Definitely you don't.
Although I feel like somebody did that recently when they won that award.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, on to, now that we've...
Should we actually talk about some of the awards?
Yeah, let's talk about how dumb some of these awards are, because holy crap, 3 billboards outside of Ebbing something.
Okay.
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Okay. What the fuck?
I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing. I love Frances McDormand. I love her. I really do. Like, that's not who I would have picked to win in that category, but I super love her. And I love Sam Rockwell too. I really do. And I'm like, okay, like, sure, those were okay performances. They were good performances. Not who I would pick.
Yeah.
But the one that was driving me up the wall was script.
Was what?
Was screenplay.
Oh,
to give
right.
an award to 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. The script is ridiculous. Like, you pull on any of those plot threads and that script just falls the fuck apart. And to give it an award for screenplay, it just really bothered me.
Right. It's yeah, you know, I haven't seen The Post, so I didn't see Meryl Streep yet, but yeah. I'm kind of cycling through these, and they're great. Actually, you know, here's one thing that bothered me, and I just realized it, is the Golden Globes are like the first award, or one of the first awards when it comes to Oscar contention. This is one of the problems I have with the Golden Globes. But they're the last award. They come after the Emmys.
Right. So
half of the winners tonight in all the TV categories we've seen contend for Emmys before, and you know, perhaps I'm a little biased, but Emmys are a little cooler than Golden Globes. You know? So if you've already, you know, if Handmaid's Tale has already won the Emmy and then they get the Golden Globe, it's like, all right, fine, I guess, but you know.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're a shoo-in for the Emmys next year.
Right, exactly, you know.
Yeah. I just think 3 Billboards is not going to age well, and I wonder, I'm kind of hoping that the movie's peaking a little early and we're not going to see this kind of Oscar love for it. It's a very flawed movie.
Well, it is.
I don't want to fault the performances. Like, people are very good in it. Frances McDormand's always super awesome. Sam Rockwell's always super awesome. They give great performances. Although I would say hers it could be a little one note. It was, you know, I'm angry.
Yeah,
but
I'm angry. I'm kicking women in the balls.
It's like, I do love that part though.
That's true.
I just think there's other movies that are better, but that's my taste, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's that's the thing is, you know, I get it. And, you know, given the fact that Dave Chappelle over the 2017 has stepped in it several times, and I've been a defender of him talking outside of the prescribed lines of what's polite these days, you know, as a comedian or whatever, I understand when you have a character like Sam Rockwell's in 3 Billboards, and you're touching on police and you're touching on race relations and all this stuff, that, you know, we kind of get clenched up a little bit and we kind of get nervous and we question the kind of racial politics of the movie. I want to err on the side of giving creators and storytellers the ability to tell varied stories or tell nuanced stories where somebody that's a racist might also have some worthy qualities, and the mixture of that could be interesting. My problem is 3 Billboards, I just don't think did it. I think it really was warmed over
Coen Brothers
stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, now that I think about it, what we should say is 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri won for Best Drama. That's the main reason that we're talking about it.
Yes.
Frances McDormand won for Best Actress. Mm-hmm. Sam Rockwell won for Best Supporting Actor. And
it won Best Screenplay.
But now that I'm looking at the other nominees, okay, Call Me By Your Name, haven't seen it. I have to say I'm not super interested, but whatever. Dunkirk, holy smokes. That movie just really whiffed with me.
Yeah.
Shape of Water, a nice little, cute little, for people who love movies and love the magic of movies and the history of movies and whatever. I see all of the appeal, but it just, it didn't dent my steely heart.
I love The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water was my pick.
Right. And then The Post, I haven't yet seen. So then we look at, Jesus Christ, motion picture, musical, or comedy. This is another problem that I have, is, and we've talked about this before, but I want to really examine this for a second. Best motion picture, musical or comedy, Lady Bird, which won? I, Tonya, haven't seen yet. Disaster Artist, good movie. Get Out.
Not a comedy or a musical.
Not a comedy or a musical. So what weird... Like, I almost want to get, like, really snot... And then The Greatest Showman. I almost want to get really snotty with Get Out and really wonder, does the Hollywood Foreign Press Association think that this is a funny movie?
Well, I think
racial politics of this movie are hilarious.
Isn't it that the studio submitted these movies in their categories?
Yes, no, it is.
It's not even, but I can't help it. The Hollywood Foreign Press were like, it's not really a comedy, but that's what they submitted it in. So, oh well.
Yeah. So no, that's when you say it's not a comedy. We're not letting it in. No, out. You know, I'm all for studios. You know, I've played this game myself. I'm all for studios trying to, you know, actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to play this game again this week with Emmy entries. You try to get the thing that you made into a category that fits. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association's job is to say no. If this was not, a live broadcast, you can't submit it into the live broadcast category. Right. If this is not a comedy, you can't submit it for the comedy. You can't do it. So, yeah.
So Lady Bird won Best Picture, Comedy or Musical.
Yeah.
And Lady Bird is great. Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy was, I'm going to ruin this name. Nope, I can't do it.
Smith. I want to say Soraya, but I know that's not the case.
Saoirse Ronan from Lady Bird.
Right. She was great.
And she's great. She's wonderful. Best Television Limited Series or Motion Picture Made for Television was Big Little Lies, which is not a surprise. It won like everything.
Right. Exactly.
All year long. Best Director was Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water. And Best Performance by an Actor in a Television Series, Musical or Comedy was Aziz Ansari from Master of None.
Aziz Ansari. Yes.
Yeah.
Master of None. I've watched half of that season.
That's a good one.
That's
a good
one.
Pick.
Yeah, it is a good one. How did Ansel Elgort get nominated for Baby Driver? I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
That's a good movie.
It's a good movie, but are you telling me that his performance... Let's look at James Franco for The Disaster Artist, Danielle Kaluuya for Get Out, Steve Carell, Battle of the Sexes.
He should be in the comedy category.
Yeah, exactly.
But...
Hugh Jackman for Greatest Showman. Ansel Elgort. Did I make a Freddie Prinze Jr. scale joke when we reviewed it, Baby Driver? I think I did. Because
I don't remember.
He is inert when it comes to charisma. And seeing him in this category, oh my God, yeah. So, so Allison Janney won for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role for Motion Picture. Sam Rockwell, Guillermo del Toro.
Coco won Animated Feature. Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role Series, Limited Series, TV Movie, Laura Dern for Big Little Lies. Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, James Franco for The Disaster Artist. You already said that. Right. I'm just reading this off the variety list, so it seems like it's a little out of order.
Right.
Best Original Song is This Is Me from The Greatest Showman, which I just saw today, but I think obviously Remember Me from Coco should have been the real winner here.
Is it me?
It's you.
No, hear me out on this. I haven't seen The Greatest Showman.
Mm-hmm.
But every big number from a musical essentially boils down to, this is me, I have big dreams, I'm dreaming my dreams. Yes. That's every big musical number. The I Want song, it's called the I Want songs from musicals.
I'm wishing.
It's where the main character says in the story, and this is, sometimes I wish I wrote musicals because it would be so much easier to just have the characters tell the audience, these are my dreams, these are my hopes, these are my weaknesses, this is what I'm afraid of, this is what I think is going to destroy my dream, and then all the tension is set up and the story just goes. Anyway, was it a good song? Was it better than Remember Me?
No, no. The Greatest Showman is fine. That's what I left feeling like that was fine. Like,
It's
I was entertained. I say it like a question. Um, it didn't
you
blow me
say it like you're
away.
trying to
I wasn't
convince
like, oh,
yourself.
I need to go home now and listen to the soundtrack, which is what I think you should do after a musical. And I didn't really have that feeling. I do think Hugh Jackman is awesome, and I do love that he could do something like Logan and do The Greatest Showman in the same year. But the movie itself didn't really do it for me.
Sonia Mansfield.
Sonia
The
Mansfield.
Greatest
It's fine.
Showman is ... fine? Semicolon question mark?
I was entertained? Question mark.
I think.
Yeah, it was fine. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a series or TV movie was Alexander Skarsgård from Big Little Lies. Television series is The Handmaid's Tale. Best performance by an actor in a television series, Sterling K. Brown for This Is Us. He won the Emmy earlier this year. I think, did he win the Golden Globe last year too, maybe? So
I'm not sure.
it's kind of
What I have heard is, I'm just going to drop this in there, is Aaron Sorkin has said in passing that if he were ever to do a West Wing revival, that he would like to write a story about a president played by Sterling K. Brown. And I would watch the hell out of that show.
yeah.
Sorry.
He's awesome.
Yes.
Sterling K. Brown is awesome. I would never deny him his awards. He's awesome. Best performance by an actress in a television series is Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale. Best performance by an actress. Okay, and then for musical comedy, it's Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which is pretty cool.
Interesting. You can pronounce the Jewish names. All right.
It's because they control the media. And best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a motion picture, Sam Rockwell. I think we already said that. Best
Right.
performance by an actress in a limited series, Nicole Kidman for Big Little Lies.
Right. So,
Did you have a favorite moment from the show?
yes, I did. It was for a movie that I liked fine, The Disaster Artist. So James Franco wins for Best Actor in a comedy or whatever. And Tommy Wiseau, director, writer, star of The Room, comes up on stage with him and goes for the mic. And James Franco waves him off and says, "Not so fast," or something like that. And then he gives this. So it's kind of like, I'll talk about you, I'll talk about your movie, I'll talk about the book, I'll talk about everything, but stay the hell away from my mic. I won the award. I'm going to give the speech.
Moment.
It's right. Get out of here, Tommy. It's like, you can hang around, you can be part of the milieu of this movie, but don't get between me and the mic, which I thought was a very actorly moment.
Yes.
It was very funny and inspiring. And I did think, and this is, maybe it was because I find The Room, and I'm so very late coming to the party that is The Room. Seth Rogen's description of The Room being a movie so strange and weird that it makes you question the value of quality itself or the meaning of quality, which is 100% true. Is the movie is awful, but it is immensely enjoyable to watch. And it's I was trying to think of the right way to describe The Room. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen
No,
The
I haven't.
Disaster Artist of The Room? Okay.
I haven't.
It's, how there's a contingent of Christians in America that don't believe in evolution.
Yes.
And what they say is, well, it's kind of, evolution doesn't make any sense. How could you have all these complex things created by simple matters? It would be like a tornado going through a junkyard and at random assembling a 747. It's impossible and never, and that's their metaphor. Tommy Wiseau is kind of, The Room is kind of like that miraculous 747. None of what he tried should have worked. None of what he tried did work. It was a literal, there's a reason the book and the movie is called The Disaster Artist. It was a train wreck, a unmitigated, epic train wreck from start to finish, but it produced something that is so deep and crazy and complex and enjoyable, seemingly every step of which was an accident that broke in the right way, that it is this kind of weird showbiz miracle that is, there's, I mean, I think we said it when we were talking about the Disaster Artist a couple weeks ago. You're going to see a lot of good movies. You're going to see a lot of great movies, but you're never going to see a movie that does what The Room does. That accomplishes what The Room accomplishes. It is staggering. It is crazy. And seeing him up on stage as part of the joke, but also a little bit the butt of the joke, I have to say, was meaningful, or it was inspiring. It was a fun, moment to watch. All the practiced nonchalance and the practiced off the cuff, the fake spontaneity of these nights is always gets under my skin a little bit.
Yeah.
But watching Tommy Wiseau get up on the Golden Globe stage was a hell of that was a fun thing to see.
I was just all about Oprah.
Yes.
I loved Oprah's speech. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was definitely the highlight. What'd you think of Seth Meyers?
He was fine. He was.
I thought he was funny.
fine.
I like Seth Meyers.
He was funny. I mean,
I love the part where he had people finishing the punchlines.
Yeah.
To his jokes. I thought that was funny, and I always like seeing Amy Poehler, so that was good too.
You know what? I think that was the thing. It was kind of like he's fine, he's funny, he's whatever. He's he didn't do anything that Jimmy Kimmel couldn't have done, or Stephen Colbert couldn't have done, or Conan O'Brien couldn't have done, or Jimmy Fallon couldn't have done. I would have loved to see. I think they should give this to Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. They should just give them these awards. They get to run these awards because they were so much funnier and so different.
Well, I'm sure they asked them and they said no.
I'm sure they said no. I'm sure all of that's true. But as a viewer, I'm kind of like, all right, fine, whatever. I mean, I did really like Oprah's delivery, and I really did. Well, there's something to be said for somebody that puts together a speech, puts together something. There were so many notes of wannabe hopefulness and wannabe inspiration that just missed the mark. And she hit the mark perfectly from start to finish without ever falling over into cloyingness or ridiculousness or whatever. I think it really is the fact that she really did come from a hard scrabble beginning.
Yeah.
She really did come from these hard, a lot of these actors and actresses, they'll tell stories about struggle, they'll tell stories about breaking in, and they've, half of them have gone to Juilliard, half of them have gone to whatever.
They haven't gone through 1/10 of what Oprah has gone through.
A, they haven't gone through 1/10. B, being a waitress in West Hollywood for 6 months before you got your first series is not really the story of struggle.
Oh, how I suffered.
But then look at where Oprah started and look at where she's ended. Because I'll admit, I haven't paid all that much attention to the Cecil B. DeMille Award. I was kind of thinking it was the, that's the award you give to Spielberg at the end of his career or whatever. And I was thinking, well, gosh, Oprah's been in some movies and, she had a talk show, and does she really deserve this?
Right.
And then I was thinking, well, yeah, she did. She did. She started her own network. How many people could do that? And then I'm thinking, all right, well, hell, people have made jokes and made comments. Oh, maybe she's going to run for president. Or you're already seeing the tweets tonight of Oprah for president. And I'm thinking, all right, you know what? You take that speech, you give her a couple other speeches. Have her tell her story. You put her, you know what? Yeah, why not? And
I think Oprah has demonstrated a desire for inspiring people, but also I feel like she does have like a bit of a public service
she does.
background, and I think that that's something that our current president does not have. He does not give a shit about people.
Right.
And he has no proven desire for public service. I feel like she does. She could totally run. Why not?
She could. And actually, now that I've said all this stuff about the Cecil B. DeMille Award, I'm going back and looking at some of the previous recipients. Yeah, she definitely deserves it because, Robert De Niro, I got it. What is he? He's a good actor. Mm-hmm. Martin Scorsese, obviously one of the greatest directors of the last half century, definitely deserves it. Steven Spielberg, yes. Anthony Hopkins? Really?
Right.
Gene Hackman?
Well, Gene Hackman's awesome.
Part of me is looking at this and thinking, gosh,
But what they've done is, and I guess I need to know, what do you have to do to get the award? Do you just have to be really good at directing? Do you have to be really good at acting? Because it seems to me that Oprah's more than those things.
Right. See, that's the thing. It's
like when you win the humanitarian award at the Oscars. Like, it's not just that you're a really good actor. It's that you do these amazing charitable things that make the world a better place. And I think Oprah does do that.
Definitely. I was under the impression the Cecil B. DeMille Award was not only are you somebody that's had a successful career, you have done more than just, to be honest, I thought it was more about work you had done in the industry and not so much humanitarian stuff. I thought it was like you were not just a producer, you were a producer that changed the game, like a Steven Spielberg or like a Martin Scorsese.
It says you get this award for outstanding contributions to the world of entertainment.
Exactly. George Clooney, I get. He's a good, he's directed a couple of things and he's been in a couple of enjoyable movies, but he's nowhere, he's nowhere near Martin Scorsese or a Steven Spielberg or a, some of these people. It's like Harrison Ford. He's a good actor. I get it, but that's it. That's, so yes. So this is all a very long-winded way of saying I went into tonight wondering if Oprah Winfrey really deserved this award. I'm coming out of this night thinking she deserved it most of anybody who's won it in the last 20 years going away. Anthony Hopkins, I love the guy. I really love the guy, but I mean, okay.
Right.
Sean Connery, he was James Bond. I got it. We all love Sean Connery except for the wife beating thing and whatever. And the time he raped Bond girls in Thunderball and From Russia with Love and You Only Live Twice and Diamonds Are Forever. Point is, Oprah Winfrey really deserved this award.
She sure did.
All right.
Do we have anything else we want to say about the Golden Globes?
I was glad to see Rachel Brosnahan win for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That is an actress that really did act the hell out of that part and really took a part that could have just been grating like a Gilmore Girl, he said knowingly. And she made it just fantastic and engaging and great. And I think I talked to you about how I wasn't so sure I was going to keep with the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I have kept watching it because of her.
Yeah, she's really great.
So, other than that, it's just, it's, people are going to hear this rant several times over the next couple months, so I'm not going to get too deep into it here. But man, there is something about Hollywood giving itself awards that just gets under my skin.
Thanks for that insight, Emmy winner.
That's right. So, well, you see, here in Northern California, our Emmys are better than their Emmys.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right, Sonia Mansfield, is there anything else that you would like to say about the Golden Globes?
I will just say your time's up, Smith. And goodbye.
Boy, that's the case. Bye! The Dorking Out Show is on Twitter at Dorking Out Show, where you can also find me at Jet Juergens and Sonia at The Sonia Show.
And you can read all about my random adventures at my blog, thesoniashow.com, and track the slow, creeping process of Chris's novel, and his other hijinks at jetjurgens.com.
Yeah, you know what? Go right over there right now and see how much is going on jetjurgens.com. Anyway, it'll be fun. It'll be like a trip back to 2016. Anyway, you can find out more about the Dorking Out Show at dorkingoutshow.com, and while you're over there, you can support us by giving us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please, for the love of God, for some reason, Apple Podcasts holds our destiny in their hands, so go over there and give us a rating, please. Sorry.
We would do it for you. We have a handy link on our website. It'll whisk you right over there so you could gush your love all over us.
This is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Why did you write it like
I think
this, Sonia?
you wrote
I
it
didn't
like
write
that.
it like this. I don't write this.
We would gush love all over you and your podcast.
Yeah, we would do that. Anyway, point
Gushing.
is, I think we might be re-recording this here in a moment.
Gushing.
Jesus. What kind of podcast are you turning this into?
One that people will listen to.
This has been a presentation of Rocket Spots Media.